Welcome to another Speakers on Edge. We're doing 15 minutes of fame, and I have a voice of vision with a message that matters. Her name's Geeta. Geeta, who are you?
I really want to reimagine the world for women because we're 50% of the population, and my goal at this stage of my life is how would the world work if we assume that normal means white man and traditional means rich white man, and then we created systems, processes, workplaces, investment criteria that were for women, by women, and actually accommodated the fact that, for example, women could take their biology to work and still be women at work instead of having to sit by a prototype that doesn't suit women's bodies in the way that they have to perform, but it becomes very production aligned. Like, you want me to deliver this project, I can deliver it, but I don't have to do a 9 to 5 to deliver it. We look at the fact that women make many, many more successful businesses. If you lend women money, they'll make 78 pence in every dollar, and men will make 35 pence in every dollar in return. So how do we get that so that is something that is understood by the world? So I run that movement. I started it a year and a half ago because I read a terrible sexual assault case where women couldn't get heard and their workplaces were so bad. And I didn't want to do something like this. I felt like taking on the world was a little too much for this year. And then my eldest daughter got fired from her cafe job at the university she worked in because she had her periods, and she couldn't go to work because she had periods for 2 days in a row. And she rang me up and she's like, "Mama, do something about this." And I was like, I don't know what you do. And then it's like eating an elephant kind of thing. It's one step at a time. So I said the first thing that works on changing workplace infrastructure. So it's something WCORP makes it easier for women to go to work and stay at work, even if they're having a period, perimenopause, looking after kids, doing whatever. It allows them to be women and still go to work because we need the money. And then this year we created the green flag, which is about how to help investors to understand that when you look at women-run businesses, you want to use a different criteria because women take less risk. They usually need less money. They make you more returns, and they create legacy businesses. But they only get 2% of all available investment money. And I want to work on this stuff.
This is a really wonderful topic because have you heard of the microloans that was happening in Asia many years ago?
Yes, I run a charity for microloans in the middle of sub-Saharan Africa, actually, called the Microloan Foundation. And we make loans of $25 to $45 to women. And last year, we also teach them how to run a business because they are not literate in their own languages. And we give them little phones and we make them these loans. The repayment rate is 98.9% post-COVID. Pre-COVID, it was 99.2%. And last year, we put 39,800 women into business, just last year alone. And for every woman we put into business, 4.2 children are fed, clothed, housed, and educated. So microloans is really great, but it's what I want to do is help the women that live in the West as well, and not just the women that live in some of the poorest parts of the world.
Yeah, the reason why I brought up the microloans was because it was about almost 20 years ago when I found out about the microloan scenario. And what they found was exactly what you said, was that the women, you give the woman the microloan, they create the business, they create the profit, they create a society that supports the children and the aged. The men would take the loans. Sadly, they would drink, and the debt rate for the males receiving the microloans was ridiculously high, but the repayment rate for the women was, again, as you said, 98%.
Well, pre-COVID, it was 99.4%. So this is a lower rate post-COVID, and it's slowly getting back up. So yeah, I'm like, what would happen if we just reimagined the world for women with the knowledge we have today?
Well, when you look back at how society has been for the last 120 years, the men have gone off to war at various times, and the women have been left behind to run the families, the businesses, the industry, and the infrastructure. And you can look through history at this and see how important women have been to our financial well-being.
And stability.
And stability, yeah. And they are the ones who have created, and this isn't men bashing.
No.
They have created, they are resourceful, they are absolutely incredible at what they can achieve.
The fact that you even have to say that proves the reason why I created this movement, because we would never have to say men are resourceful and men are intelligent and men achieve things, because there is a core assumption that men are like that. But the core assumptions for how women are not like that mean that women become isolated. And when there are instances of war or economic downturns, women are hurt the most. So my goal is to create a global community where we host other women's communities on our community, but we give them a centralized platform to have a voice, so that if there is a 1 million women community and you are one woman, but when you walk out, you have 999,000, that one, women behind you. So you're not alone, and that's what we want to create and have. And probably somebody with better maths than me.
I can remember some politicians who struggled with those sorts of numbers as well. It was a very amusing moment. But okay, so we have a lot of women watching today. What is the number one piece of advice you could give them for where they are today?
The simplest thing for a woman to understand is that if you were born a woman, you are automatically culturally inculcated to be a people pleaser. And it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what your economic status is, it just is the fact that you're born in the body of a woman. And because our people pleasing comes through on so many levels. It comes through culturally, it comes through economically, it comes through in our families, it comes through from everything that we're doing. We have to consciously and continuously fight that instinctive desire to be a good girl at all stages. Firstly, I see you. Secondly, it can be done. Thirdly, do not be afraid to be a powerful woman. You inherently are powerful. It's just not been given much value over the ages.
So how can a woman empower themselves in this process?
The word no is a fabulous way to empower yourself.
Oh, I like that.
And no is a complete sentence as well. Not no, but no, because, just no.
And I can see the passion in you. What's your why? Where did this come from? I mean, yes, your daughter got sacked, which I think is just insane in itself. But what's your why? Where did this drive, this fire inside you come from?
It's a very common story. I grew up in a very wealthy background, very wealthy. And when but my father was kind of like, once we paid for you to go to university, you're on your own. And I was like, that's sad, but did that. And then I had one child who wasn't very well for a long time, but I was a lawyer. Then and I couldn't stay at work because he wasn't well. So I had to find different work, even though I was qualified as a lawyer. Then I had 2 more children, and we built an enormous business, multi-million-pound business together. And my marriage went very bad. So when I picked up my children and walked out because it wasn't safe for us to stay, I had a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And then I walked around the corner to my mother's house. And in the time it took me to ring the school and say, we're not coming in, change your nappy, have you got a sippy cup, have you got a drink? He emptied all our bank accounts. And my mother said, if you're married, you need to go back to your husband. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. And he said, if you came back to me, I'll give you money. My mother said, if you go back to him, we'll give you money. And I was like, nobody cares what we need, what I need. And so I have to create a world of my own. And we were very, very poor. We had £200. We were sleeping on the floor of my friend's house. And she kept us there for 6 months. And the children slept on the bed, and I slept on these sofa cushions on the floor. And I remember not mattering to anybody unless I was unless I behaved or I was good. And I thought, you know what, this is not an acceptable way to treat people. Women, people, mothers, it's not acceptable. So I created a life. I made a commitment to myself, Jake. I was like, I am going to become the most powerful woman that I can possibly be. And that is what I determined on. And I looked after my children. We kept them in the same schools. We fed, we clothed, we housed them. And that process where I became powerful then gave me the view of what it's like for other women who are constantly belittled and don't feel powerful or feel scared to be powerful, or the only mirror for their power is a masculine approach. And that doesn't suit us as women, it doesn't suit our biology. And so it kind of led me into this space of, okay, how do we provide a space? So I started coaching women to be more powerful. I've done that for 12, 15 years, and I've coached some of the most famous women in the world, including the royal family. But I was like, how do we help all the women to become powerful? And I was just watching one of the more recent wars, and I was like, women and children are being decimated because we don't have a voice. And so I made a commitment to build them a platform where they would have a voice. That's why I do what I do every day.
I'm very humbled by that story, because I've also been coaching for nearly 30 years now, and my primary market has been women, and I've seen women go through the exact state you went through.
Yeah, it's very common.
It is ridiculously common, and it shouldn't happen that way. Yes, things can break down. We've all had those relationships that go bad, but we should be dealing with it as adults with respect, not... Yeah. Anyway, not bullying each other. And I've seen it happen time and time again. People get bullied.
Yeah.
So you've created this platform. What sort of things will this platform provide the women that are watching the show today?
So one thing we wanted to provide is we wanted to provide a collective space where you're not alone, because as a woman today, you can feel very alone. So we wanted to provide a collective space in turbulent times. Secondly, we want you to bring your communities onto our platforms. You keep your name, you keep your community. Think of us as just providing the support in the common spaces. So we can think there's a woman in Thailand trying to get elected to parliament, and she needs, £2,000 to run her election campaign. And if you've got 1 million women, raising that £2,000 to support her is effortless. None of this is a charitable concept. All of it is, how do we give you the tools to empower you so that the more powerful you become, the more you help other women around you. There's an entire founders, because I'm an entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur my entire adult life. There's a female founders support section, which has all the different tools to help you raise money, pitch for money, get your deck checked. And we've got a lot of tech. We've created Clause Guard. You can upload your term sheet and it tells you where all the red flags are. So it's not normal, because you would get screwed if it was normal. So this is how to make it okay for you. I think those things will all grow. As we create these environments, we will know more what is missing, and we will help other women with the things that they need. Ultimately, the goal is to create the space.
Where can people find you, and how can they participate? Because going to a web address is one thing, the depth of participation, because this, to me, this is an incredible resource that you've created. How can women get involved with it?
Well, and men, because we're very clear that there's no man bashing allowed in anything that we do. And in all the time that I have done any work, that, I will absolutely bash my ex with great joy, but I'm entitled to that. But that is definitely not man bashing in a generalized format. So just put my name into LinkedIn. We'll give you my LinkedIn profile. Please DM, reach out. If you go into WCORporation.org, there's become an ambassador page. Go there and join us as an ambassador. We have we're constantly creating new structures, because the goal behind this is to create the pillars that will support women going forward. So we have like an allyship event coming up to create certification of allyship. So you can't just say, I support women. There's a way that we help you to support women, you know? So come and reach out on any platform.
You did say men are also welcome on the platform.
Not on the global platform. That is women only, but on our other platforms, absolutely.
Okay. And so the best way for the men that are watching who want to be supportive and co-creative.
As ambassadors. Come on as
ambassadors. Come on as ambassadors. So that's on wcorporation.com?
.org.
Yeah. Excellent. So what will also happen is we will have a link to that website on our Speakers on Edge website, on our 15 Minutes of Fame. I'm absolutely blown away with what you're saying, because this is such a well-needed environment to support the families. To me, it's all about the families. And it's not about whether you're married, single, divorced, or anything else in between, or who you're married to or who you're not married to. It's about empowerment. And this is why I love doing this show, because we have people like yourself coming on the show with a message of empowerment because of the difficult challenges you went through. Yet you've created something so empowering that was needed by millions.
Yeah. And you know, I was so, I've been a single parent my entire adult life, and I've been incredibly poor. You know, we lived on £14 a day, while the children's father bought gold Rolexes every day. And that's just a common story. You know, it's not unusual. Yep. What was unusual was that I was determined to bring my children up in the environment they were entitled to, which was one of wealth and privilege. And I was very focused on that. And then I looked at that and I was like, okay, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. How do we help them do it? And then that's where that came from. And you know, let me do that.
I love that. How can we help you do it? Well, you come onto our website, we'll send you to Geeta, become an ambassador, participate in it, and let's make the world a better place. This has been Speakers on Edge, 15 Minutes of Fame. We've had Geeta, thank you for being a true voice of vision with a message that truly, truly, truly matters. We'll see you next time on the show. Bye.